Well, this is awkward, but anyways, it's Jada and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a get to know me. I created this channel to be able to show society how it is to live with a chronic illness. I have sickle cell anemia. I was born with it. And I just wanted to show you guys how life it actually is for me, and to be able to make content for people who actually have sickle cell also, so they can actually be able to get some understanding and some advice and some help with people who have sickle cell, because there's not really that much content out there for people who have sickle cell and how they live their life and the daily challenges and struggles that they go through. So that's what I'm creating my channel for, to be able to help them and to comfort them, and knowing that there are other people who go through the exact same thing that they go through, and just to be able to expose my daily life and to share with them and also the world, to educate and to spread awareness. So yeah. So just a little intro about me. My name is Jade. I'm 23 years old. I'm about to be 24 on July 23rd. I graduated with my bachelor's in criminal justice and criminology. I'm really a homebody, but I love to travel. I live in Kansas City, but I travel a lot because I just want to be able to experience life while I'm still living, and it's hard for me to do certain things just because I'm in the hospital. So whenever I'm not in the hospital, I like to take advantage of that time to either rest or to just experience life. So I'm going to be answering some questions that was on my Instagram that I posted, just a little get to know me, so people can just want to see. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into the questions. So the first one is, do you have the gene or the trait? So I have the gene. I have the full-blown disease, and so there's SC, which is the trait, and then SS, which is the full-blown disease. And there's different varieties of the disease and of the illness. There's one called beta thalassemia, which is a strain, SS, which is a full-blown disease, and so yeah. How does your illness affect your dating life? It affects my dating life because I get sick a lot, which means I'm constantly in the hospital and at treatment, as you can see. So just not being able to be there for people physically and emotionally, because I deal with a lot of things. So it just affects my life, but my dating life, by not being able to be there for them when they need me, because I'll be, in the hospital or I'm too sick. What is something you wish people knew more about your illness? I wish people knew how extreme this illness is. Like, it's very, very, very harsh on our bodies. People really don't know how much pain we're in, because we've been dealing with this illness for so long, since birth. We're born with this illness. We built a tolerance over the years to be able to control our pain, and people see me like this and think I'm just fine, but I'm actually in a lot of pain at the moment. And so I just wish people knew how extreme it is. Like, we're on the same floor whenever we get admitted with people who have cancer and stuff like that. It's a blood disease. So it's very extreme, and people just really don't realize it, because we just don't show our pain due to the tolerance that we built over the years. How does your illness affect your relationship with religion? I feel like my illness has made my faith stronger. Sometimes it does sway, because it's just like, why God, why? But also, God does everything for a reason. So I feel like it brings me closer to him, because at the end of the day, he is the only one who knows my pain. He knows what I go through mentally, physically, spiritually. And just to be able to lean on him and depend on him during these rough times. Romans 8:18 says, yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory that he will reveal later to us. So I feel like even when I'm in crisis, the pain won't last long. Like, I know God's gonna bless me. I know he's gonna help me get through this crisis. So it's made my relationship stronger with God. Sometimes I do have those downfall moments when I'm just like, God, please just help me get through this, and why me? But at the end of the day, I know God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. So how is your mental when you have to deal with everyday health concerns? And since I was so sheltered in the hospital, that was a way for me to like be able to have human interaction. So be able to experience life while I'm still living, and it's hard for me to do certain things just because I'm in the hospital. So whenever I'm not in the hospital, I like to take advantage of that time to either rest or to just experience life. I like to learn a lot. I'm constantly researching and looking stuff up. I'm very awkward. I'm very awkward. Sometimes my social skills are not all the way just because I'm not really used to being around people. I like to be alone a lot, but I'm definitely a social butterfly. I definitely can walk up to a stranger and have a full-blown conversation. My favorite colors are pink and black. I'm really big on family and friends. I love food. I love to eat. I like to try different types of foods, but I'm a very picky eater. I'm into books. I love fashion. I like hanging out with my friends. I love just enjoying God's creations. That's another reason why I just like to travel so much, and just to see life from my own eyes instead of just watching it on a TV screen. Yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I have two sisters and one brother. My oldest sister, she has sickle cell also. My mental health can vary because it can be very depressing, be constantly in the hospital for weeks at a time. Like I said, I'm very sick, so I can be in the hospital for long periods of time by myself, all alone, and it gets very depressing sometimes. Not being able to get up when you want to, move when you want to, go hang out with your friends when you want to, and or just have a self-care day, or stuff like that. So it can be hard sometimes, especially when my crisis goes on for a long period of time. For the most part, it's pretty stable, but other than that, I keep myself in good spirits. What doesn't cost money that you enjoy? Like looking at God's creation, hanging out with friends. I like to learn a lot, so I look up a lot of things on the internet, just having conversations, deep thoughts, stuff like that. How do you manage due to everything going on with your health? I take it day by day. Sometimes I don't really think about it because, like I said, I've been dealing with this my whole life, so this isn't anything that's new to me. I just take it one day at a time. I talk to my friends and my family about it, but I have a balance. I have a ritual, a schedule that I do every day. Just a routine helps. And sometimes when you don't have a routine, it's kind of hard to balance. But once you get in the motions and just going through life, it just makes it a little bit easier because you'll have other things to focus on besides the pain. Can you travel overseas? If where do you want to go? So actually, I just came back from Jamaica, and that was a great trip. I'm gonna post that video soon. But when I go out of town, especially out of the country, I need to look up, all the hospitals that's around, what city I'm going to be in, being able to communicate with my doctor about the things that I need before I go out of the town and especially out of the country, to make sure that I have all the medications and things that I need, because I don't want them to have to send my medication over or anything like that. I want to be able to have it with me. I want to be able to know where I'm going to be at, all the exact locations. There's a lot of research that goes into me traveling, because I want to make sure that I'm going to be okay, and I also don't want to jeopardize myself or my friends or whoever's with me when I travel. I'm a long ways away from home, and I need to make sure that I'm able to get the things that I need when I need it. Have I been getting any better recently? Not really, just because I've been traveling so much. I haven't had time to give my body a rest, but I'm better than I was doing last year, because last year I was hospitalized for over 100 days. Last year was really tough for me, but I've been getting better, but it's still been hard. What's next as far as life? What plans do you have regarding for what you want to do in the future? So currently I'm working on my YouTube channel, guys, as you can see, because this is something that's been on my heart for a long time, and I feel like this could be my testimony to share with people I'm a big advocate for helping people. I love people. I care about them so much. I also just graduated with my bachelor's in criminal justice and criminology. I plan on being a lawyer and a judge and a criminal psychologist, which is somebody who conducts research and writes analysis over people who have committed crimes. Like, I want to know why people do the things that they do. What made you the way you are? Like, what happened in your past, or what triggered you to, become a murderer, or, things of that nature. If you didn't have sickle cell, how do you think your life would be? I honestly don't know. So I really can't imagine myself having it, but if I did have it, I know I would have kids. That's something that would definitely be a part of my life, is having kids. But since I have sickle cell, I don't plan on having kids at all, because it's already a risk being pregnant as a woman, especially as a Black woman within the healthcare system. And then on top of that, having a chronic illness, and how much I'm sick and being in the hospital and stuff like that. An absent parent is the worst type of parent, in my opinion. If I didn't have a sickle cell, I would definitely be a mother. What's the hardest part about dealing with your health? The hardest part to me is not being able to control my body. Like I said, we build a tolerance over the years. We know how to control ourselves to a certain extent. But when it gets to that level to where you can't control yourself, and you can't talk, and you can't walk, and you can't eat, and you're crying, and you're in so much pain, like, that's the hardest part to me, is not being able to control my body, because that's something I do believe in strongly, is having self-control. And since I'm not able to have that self-control involuntarily, it's really a struggle for me. Besides the treatments, what are some things you do to make living with your illness more tolerable? I go to treatment a lot to get pain medicine and fluids, but I'm also on this trial drug that I take. It's an infusion that I get once a month. There are other medications out there to help with sickle cell, but I don't take them because they just didn't work for me. So I get my infusion. I also get blood transfusion. I go to aqua therapy. I have a therapist who specializes in people with sickle cell, so I talk to her a lot. Diet. I try to exercise when I can, but I don't like to overdo it, because that can trigger a crisis as well. What are some things that can cure your illness? So there's no cure. At a young age, there's this thing called a bone marrow transplant, and if you have sickle cell, you have to get that before like the age of 15 or something like that, because after that, the risk of the procedure is 10 times higher, and also it probably won't work. And if it does work, it'll revert back to you having sickle cell again. So there's no cure. There are just treatments to help ease the pain, and just taking medicine. So what are some of your favorite childhood memories? So like I said, I've been sick my whole life. I was sheltered a lot. I was always either in the house or in the hospital. I never really did anything. I never really went anywhere. But my favorite childhood memories is when I played volleyball. My mom did not want me to play any sports, but my dad, before he passed away, he let me play volleyball. And another memory that I have is when I was really, really, really sick and I couldn't walk. And my dad, he picked me up and carried me, and he put me in the bath, and he just helped me so much. I'll forever be grateful for him that he did that for me. That's one of my favorite memories ever. The top 3 countries that you want to travel: I want to go to Egypt. I want to go to Jerusalem. I think that's in Israel. And I also want to go to Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I don't know what country that is, but that's where I want to go. Next, how do you stay positive through all the pain? My family and friends, basically. They really help me stay positive, and definitely music. It's something that you look forward to in the next 5 years, is being a better advocate for people who have sickle cell and becoming a lawyer within the next 5 years. How are you doing mentally and physically having to deal with sickle cell? It just depends on the day, to be honest, because some days I might feel great, and some days I'm just not in the mood, and some days I want to cry, and some days it just depends on the day and how bad the pain is that day. The hardest thing about having sickle cell that other people don't know is just the severity of it and how we're being treated within the hospital, within the healthcare system. A stereotype that we have that we're labeled as is drug addicts, because the only thing that helps us is pain medicine. So we get constantly watched and harassed by people within the facility, because like if you're like me who frequently go to the hospital, they label you as a drug addict and don't want to give you any medicine. But if you're like some of my friends that I know, my sister, who don't get sick like that, but when they come to the hospital they don't really know you, and so it's hard for them to help you out and to see what you actually need. So it's not really a balance, like there's no in the middle. So either they know you or they don't, and it's just like that. Another question is, she said, it's not a question, but I think you should share your challenges finishing college and your journey with that, because just like you, there are others who are struggling with different illnesses that either give up or feel like it every day. So with all the people that you know and that would share your stuff, I think shedding some light on that would be super positive and cool. So yeah, college was definitely a struggle for me, especially when I went to Pitt State. I was living in the dorms, and with sickle cell, you have a decrease in your immune system. So our immune system is very weak, and so I caught every infection. I was constantly sick all the time because, like I said, I lived in a dorm, so people would be having sex in the bathrooms, they would throw up in the shower, they would leak, they would just be coughing and sneezing everywhere. Like, it was just very horrible. So I was sick all the time, and it was really a struggle for me. So the challenges that I faced were just being constantly sick, and it takes time to get rid of an infection. You need the antibiotics to work for weeks and stuff like that. And once I finally got rid of it, I would catch something else. So, and then on top of having my illness and then having an infection and then being a college student, it was really a lot for me. Those years were the hardest of my life because the hospitals really didn't know about sickle cell. There weren't that many Black people there, and sickle cell is a predominantly Black disease, so they really didn't know how to take care of me. College was definitely a struggle, and just in general, like dealing with the work. When you have sickle cell or any type of illness, I feel like you should definitely get accommodations, because like I said, being sick for weeks at a time, you would miss class and you would need to catch up on work. So having accommodations is very helpful, because you could get more time to turn in assignments and stuff like that. And that's the only thing about me, is that I just needed time to complete things. Like, I'm very smart and very intelligent. I understood all the work, but I just needed more time than the average person due to how sick I was and due to the many absences that I've had. But yeah, so those were my questions. There were some great questions. If you guys wanted to ask me anything else, feel free to leave that down below. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video.